What is going on, FA Nation? John Pepper here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook live show. We are here on a Thursday, Grande. A few Thursday shows we've had so far this year. This is one of the first ones in a while, as we have 5 games on this DraftKings main slate here tonight. Houston, Pittsburgh dealing with a little bit of rain potentially in the early part of that one, could cause maybe a delayed start. Texas, Tampa Bay, sort of the same situation. Always raining in Tampa Bay. Could have a delayed start, maybe some pop-up rain throughout the game. The only 2 weather concern spots on this main slate. If tonight is anything like the day, there's going to be a lot of offense scored here tonight. Now, obviously, different slate, different matchups, different pitchers, but still some spots we can certainly look to target here. Your top starting pitchers tonight: Fried, Valdez, and a returning Cole Reagans. Grande, how are we feeling about things, man?
Feel pretty good. It's an interesting slate. Really good pitchers, really bad pitchers. Got a nice mixture of a lot of things to like. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. We appreciate you guys that are tuning in with us here today. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Pod Degen Stoner in the chat as always in here. Fried versus Cleveland. I mean, best pitcher on the slate, $10,000. Gets Cleveland. Good matchup. Did not fare well in that Dodgers start. Dodgers are a tough draw for many and most. No hesitation going back to Fried on the slate, though.
No. He's a great pitcher.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Framber, also great spot. Pittsburgh, one of the worst teams in baseball against left-handed pitching. Framber Valdez himself coming off a complete game, 9 strikeouts against Tampa Bay. Over his last 5 games, he's got a strikeout rate up around 26% because we go through this with Framber Valdez. And Pittsburgh, 4th highest strikeout rate against lefties. So top 2 guys, also top 2 ownership pitchers on this slate here today. Yeah, no real concerns getting there. What about Cole Reagans off the IL here against St. Louis?
I mean, I don't suspect there would be much of a limit. Didn't pitch a lot on the rehab. Didn't finish 4 innings, but it was a groin. So I don't fully expect. We kind of saw this with Hunter Green, right? It was return from groin, and maybe not the best example because Hunter Green hasn't exactly pitched well, and he has another groin injury. But he returned and threw like in the 80s in terms of pitches, like right out of the gate. So I kind of expect Cole Reagans to probably sit in that range. I mean, he threw 62 was the official number in his rehab start. St. Louis is a really tough team when it comes to facing left-handed pitching. So, like, Framber is definitely the top pitcher of the day. I'd almost like unequivocally the top pitcher of the day. And then after that, like, it's basically you could play basically mixtures of Fried, or like if you want to double spend Fried or Reagans, and I think it's fine. Reagan's a little more risk because the return from the IL.
Pepio is getting the 3rd highest rostership here today, just because the only value play that is consistently pitching well right now. Obviously, the ballpark is always a little bit of a concern, but Pepio was one of the key return pieces in that Tyler Glasnow deal. Back-to-back shutout appearances for him now. Pitch counts up over 90. Back-to-back starts was his grade. He's never a big strikeout guy. But the pricing at $6,800, does that put him in your player pool tonight?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot because Texas is so bad offensively.
Yeah, we just got their lineup as well. Josh Smith leading off, Wyatt Langford hitting 2nd. See if there's anything different there. Osuna is 5th. Berger, nothing too different there in tonight's lineup.
I mean, they're 28th in WOBA and WRC plus, 29th in OPS, 24th in ISO. The problem is the home runs at home. He's allowed 9 home runs at home because that ballpark stinks, right?
Yeah.
Like even when you look at some of the peripheral stuff, like the peripheral stuff looks kind of good for Pepio. He just pitches in the worst possible ballpark ever. So I like it. But it's obviously there's obvious risk. But even when you look at the rest of everyone you mentioned, like he's the clear target. I will say, we talk about Kansas City not striking out a lot against righties. They do strike out a decent amount against lefties. They're pretty terrible against them too. 22.5% strikeout rate for Kansas City against lefties. And they're 28th or worse when it comes to OPS, ISO, WOBA, and WRC plus. So Matthew Liberatore, would be the other guy I would target in the mid range. Pepio,
a guy we've gone to a lot this year, obviously just struggled in that last outing, right? So,
let's go to Ryan's question, and it is, why is Jack Leiter in my player pool? Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan. Jack Leiter is in my player pool specifically to target. I am actively targeting Jack Leiter today. He has actually looked pretty terrible under the hood. He has a 3.66 ERA. He has a 4.92 xFIP this year. Lefties 4.93 xFIP, 193 BABIP to lefties, 43% fly ball rate, 32% hard hit rate. So he's completely been lucky against lefties. Righties, 492 xFIP, 250 BABIP, 44% fly ball rate, 40% hard hit rate. Completely lucky there. His 0.75 ISO is also attached to a 165 expected ISO to righties. His 145 ISO to lefties attached to a 220 expected ISO to lefties. Yeah. Guess what, John? Going right back to the Rays well tonight. I know these Texas Ranger youngsters are exciting and they're young and sure. They're very good. And a lot of the peripherals suggest they're not good. So I am actually completely against Jack Leiter tonight. Tampa Bay is 7th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching, and we've talked about this. It's a very good offense.
They have a lot of power from the left side.
A lot of power, so. and the righty numbers don't look great either. They have that as well. Like the righty numbers look good. So I am actually all in on the other side. I have essentially no interest in Jack Leiter on today's main slate. So I am, Godspeed, my friend. I am against you today.
Catcher position. Again, double header for St. Louis, Kansas City. I guess we'll see who's in and out of their lineups here. You have Austin Wells hitting 8th. Kybert's hitting 5th. Yanier's hitting 5th tonight. Jonah's down at the bottom of their lineup. David Fry gets freed. I feel like we just had him against an elite lefty.
Rodon,
yeah. Hitting cleanup again. Fermin's in the lineup. Maybe I'd go there at $2,400, even though I like Liberatore. Is there a catcher that you would prefer of this group?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with just punting Reese at 22.
Sure. Lefty versus Irvin?
We've talked about that a lot. So the lefties against Irvin, I think, is a really interesting spot. The Cubs stuff is interesting to me because they're starting Drew Pomerantz, who hasn't allowed a run this year. 0 ERA. He's an opener. Colin Ray comes in. Colin Ray's been atrocious against lefties. So I'm assuming K-Bear Ruiz avoids Pomerantz and will get to hit against Colin Ray. And, that's good because we want to avoid Pomerantz with how good he's been. The Nationals are very interesting. Yanier Diaz, 34, looks really good. I like Liberatore, but Salvi looks really good at that price too, $3,200. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting catching options. Danny Jansen, if you want to play Tampa and just back
It's a
the
small slate, and it's not a great position generally anyway. So,
Yep.
first base, obviously a little bit better here. Michael Busch at $4,900 against Irvin. Ben Rice hitting second against Ciccone at 48. Aranda's 45. Much better options for us. Mentioned Nathaniel Lowe. Hopefully, he'll get a couple of bats against Colin Ray there. Got a favorite of the group?
Yeah, love Michael Busch in the spot against Jake Irvin. Love Ben Rice, 4,800. Jonathan Aranda looks absolutely great, $4,500. So is there a favorite? No, but I think any of the top three are in really good spots.
Okay. Mid-range, mentioned Nathaniel Lowe, Burgers, Pepio, as we mentioned. Again, small slate, so only a few options. He had an RBI double for Jack today, but he's got lefty versus Liberatore. I don't know if you'd go there.
Let's see. Liberatore against lefties, 087 expected ISO, 263 expected WOBA, 25% K rate. He dominates lefties.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. What is there anybody else, I guess, from low up then that you would play?
Yeah, if you're stacking, I mean, Nathaniel Lowe, because he's going to get the Colin Ray stuff. That's probably it. Christian Walker in a stack. That's it.
Jazz, Brandon Lau, Nico Horner's 42, Altuve 41. Thoughts? Nick Gonzalez is back, eh?
Nick Gonzalez is back.
Dude, he's a top prospect. Not bad.
Yeah.
A little bump.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. Yeah, Jazz and Lau look good at the top. Luis Garcia is going to bat against a righty. He's been on fire. We kind of had talked about he's a much better player than the earlier season version of Luis Garcia. Also, a lot of peripherals suggested this turnaround. So I like Garcia. I think 8th tonight is weird, but when you can get a Med Rosario in the lineup hitting second, you got to do it, right? No, it's actually Med Rosario has been very good this year for them. That's probably it. I mean, you could play India. You could play Dubois, but nothing like exciting there.
Right. Third base, Jose Ramirez, Jazz Chisholm here as well, Michael Garcia, Isaac Paredes, and Junior Caminero probably lead your options for us here.
Yeah, just kind of Anthony. I mean, Blue Jays are really good against lefties. We've talked about this a whole bunch. They are like really good against lefties. So, yeah, I don't have really much to add there. They're just they crush.
They kill them. They kill. I mean, nobody's had, I don't think, a worse 2-start stretch in some time than Luzardo. He went into his last start with a 2.15 ERA, and now he's sitting at about a 4.7.
Dude, they left him in again, dude.
Yeah.
They left him in.
21 hits, 20 runs over the last 5 1/3 innings.
They left him in again, dude. What are they?
No.
They mount. There was like 3 mound visits in the whatever it was, the 4th, the 5th, whatever inning that was. I was like, okay, now is the no, we're not taking him out, guys, and then it just didn't get any better from there, which is really sad for him. But yeah, I mean, you can always play Ramirez. I think if anyone stands out, there, Caminero, I'd be right back to the Caminero well after an 0 yesterday, especially with how many struggles Leiter's had. Isaac Paredes hits righties. That's a big time reverse splits guy this year. I remember him a couple of years ago being just absolutely mashing lefties, and now it's just
he's a big pull guy, right?
Big pull guy.
Only pulls the baseball. So
yep, yeah, and now he's only hits he only hits righties. So love Paredes, Caminero. Those are probably my top 2 options. I mean, I would play Michael Garcia. He continues to absolutely rake. So if you want to play some Garcia in a stack.
Yep, and then Matt Shaw is hitting 8th, but I mean, there's some speed there if you wanted to get to that.
Yep.
Shortstop, Bobby Witt, CJ Abrams, Dansby Swanson, Corey Seager, Pena. Pena is probably my favorite of that group. Them and Abrams, probably.
Yeah, Pena's been unbelievable. I mean, like, yeah, I like the Witt price quite a bit. Like 5,500 for Bobby Witt is cheaper than.
Finally homered.
Yeah, finally homered. He's hit a couple over the last
two in his last like 12 games.
Yeah, but they've. I remember literally specifically being like, "Oh, he hasn't homered," and then the 5:30 game he homered.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like a wrong answer. I definitely like the Abrams call. I just worry about. I mean, I'm not saying he's definitely throwing it at bat away here, but he might definitely be throwing it at bat away here against Pomerantz because Pomerantz has just been that good. And yes, I understand we are talking about Drew Pomerantz and like Drew Pomerantz is Drew Pomerantz, but he's been awesome this year. Pena's been amazing. Seager, I would probably play because Pepio still like the home runs in that ballpark are concerning. I heard something. I didn't realize this, but Anthony Volpe is second on the Yankees in RBIs, which is crazy. He's hitting 230, but this is Ciccone, a lot of good underlying numbers, but surface level looks really bad. So take your pick on, what you prefer.
Okay. Anything else?
No, it's pretty bad.
Outfield, Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Pete Crow Armstrong, your top three. Obviously, we've mentioned lefties versus Irving. So PCA and Tucker among the best. Judge always in play here. Once Wood gets past Pomerantz, he's got a matchup against Colin Ray we'd like. And then all your Tampa Bay plays here tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you could play any of the top three. I think they all look great. Obviously, Tucker's finger's good enough to go, or he wouldn't be in the lineup. You could play Seiya. I wouldn't not play righties against Jake Irvin because he's kind of not good against either split. Lefties are just so abysmal, but righties do have 170 expected ISO too. So if you wanted to play Seiya, you can. James Wood looks amazing because James Wood is just amazing. Josh Lowe, we're starting to see the Josh Lowe everyone hoped they would with the power and the speed combination.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is nasty. So 5,100 doesn't even feel too expensive. So yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, I probably wouldn't play O'Neal Cruz, but he has 2 double steal games. He had the first day of June, he didn't have a hit and he had 18 fantasy points. Like, what am I going to say not to play that guy? No, but he's probably my least favorite of 5K and up.
Sure. Mid-range for you. You have your Yankees, obviously. Grisham leading off, Bellinger hitting cleanup, Dominguez from the left side hitting 7th. Anything else in this range, I guess?
Wait, dude, I'm supposed to be running the show. We agreed on that.
We did not agree on that. Maybe next time.
I'm going to ask you all the questions moving forward.
Well, we're already through this.
Through the outfield. It's already done. We did this show. This is like a you show, by the way. Because we started at 5:10.
Yeah.
This is how you do shows.
Do you have a mid-range option, guys?
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't trying to ignore you. I squirrel brain. Yeah, I mean, Bellinger, Grisham, both look really good. Ian Happ, 4,300. They're going to keep leading him off. He's going to keep being the most affordable Cub. Then, yeah, he's surely in my player pool. I've said it to you a bunch. Lefty Dominguez is the Dominguez I trust. I don't trust righty Dominguez. Also, sneaky Jason Dominguez speed coming through lately. 4 stolen bases in his last handful of games. So I like Jason Dominguez quite a bit. You can play the Tampa guy or the Texas guys if you want to go against the Pepio home run stuff. Just realized we got Jack, even though it's not his real name, in the outfield eligibility again. Meisner, 3,300, looks pretty good. There's stolen base upside there. Hassel hitting 9th. Shout out our boy Cam Smith. He's back, even though he's back to being
struggling.
bad again. Yeah.
Struggling. A lot of hard hits still, just not finding anything. So
yeah, everything's still hit hard. Unfortunately, just like not where you want to hit the ball hard. It's just at people. A lot of ground balls for Cam Smith too, which isn't great. But it's probably it. I don't think there's anything else.
I agree. Do we do Fried and Pepio, or do we try to figure out Fried and Valdez here?
So a couple things here.
Yeah.
Royals lineup, nothing, everything basically the same. Okay. Fermin is catching, batting ninth. Shane Bieber scratched from his rehab start with soreness.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Keith, dude, trippy doctor's name. Do you see the name of the doctor? Keith Meister.
I got nothing.
Keith Meister.
Okay. Got it.
You know, the guy that you work with?
Didn't make the connection. Do you got a first base play? We're looking at here. Got a little core play. Fried, Valdez. Fermin, will punt to catcher.
Core play, Caminero.
Okay.
And then Ian Happ.
You like the hat?
He's cheap.
39.60 remaining for the rest of the positions here. We'll post a full lineup in the Discord. So make sure you hit that link in the description or scan the QR code here. 7-day free trial going on and get in the Discord. Sign up at Fantasy Alarm for free in your free account. There's a link to the Discord in there as well. We'll post the completed lineup to get you guys ready for Thursday's slate starting at 6:40 p.m. Eastern time, everybody. Until then, we'll catch you later.